Welcome to today's video where we're diving into one of the most important topics for drivers and pedestrians alike: accident safety and its causes. Road safety affects everyone, whether you're behind the wheel or just crossing the street. Understanding the leading causes of accidents and how to prevent them can make the difference between life and death. In this video, we'll cover everything you need to know about road accidents, from the most common causes to practical steps you can take to stay safe on the road. By the end, you'll not only have a deeper understanding of road safety, but also practical tips to protect yourself and others. Let's begin by looking at the numbers. Road traffic accidents claim over 1.3 million lives every year, according to the World Health Organization. That's equivalent to losing a life every 24 seconds. In fact, road accidents are the leading cause of death for people aged 5 to 29. While many people think they're excellent drivers, statistics suggest otherwise. Millions of accidents happen annually due to human error, and the majority of these are preventable. So, what are the most common causes and how can we reduce these unnecessary tragedies? There are numerous factors that contribute to accidents, but let's focus on the most common ones. These are responsible for the majority of collisions worldwide. Distracted driving is the #1 cause of road accidents globally. Whether it's texting, talking on the phone, eating, or using in-car technologies, distractions take your focus off the road, even for just a second. In that second, anything can happen. The best advice? Avoid multitasking while driving. If something demands your attention, pull over. Speeding is a leading factor in fatal crashes. The faster you drive, the less time you have to react to hazards, and the more severe the impact when a collision occurs. Always stick to the speed limit, and remember that speed limits are set for ideal conditions. In poor weather or heavy traffic, you should reduce your speed accordingly. Drunk driving. Driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs impairs your judgment, reaction time, and coordination. Even small amounts of alcohol can affect your driving ability. Never get behind the wheel if you've been drinking. Designate a driver, use a ride-share service, or take public transport. It's not worth risking your life or others. Reckless driving, tailgating, weaving through traffic, and aggressive driving are all forms of reckless behavior that significantly increase the likelihood of an accident. Driving is not a competition. Always maintain a safe following distance, use your indicators, and respect other drivers on the road. Weather conditions, rain, snow, fog, and ice can make roads slippery and reduce visibility, leading to more accidents. In bad weather, reduce your speed, turn on your headlights, and maintain a larger distance from the vehicle in front of you. Always adapt your driving to the conditions. While human error is a major contributor to accidents, vehicle condition also plays a significant role. Poorly maintained vehicles can lead to mechanical failures, putting you and others at risk. Brakes. Your car's brakes are its most important safety feature. Warm brake pads or malfunctioning brake systems can cause delays in stopping, leading to accidents. Regularly check and service your brakes to ensure they're in top working condition. Tires. Your tires are the only part of your car that touches the road. Ensure they are properly inflated and have sufficient tread depth. Underinflated or worn tires increase the risk of skidding or losing control, especially in wet conditions. Lights, headlights, brake lights, and turn signals are essential for communication and visibility on the road. If any of your lights aren't working, other drivers might not see you, leading to potential collisions. Always check your lights before starting a journey, particularly at night or in bad weather. Defensive driving is about being aware of potential hazards and acting to avoid them, rather than reacting at the last second. Here are a few key defensive driving techniques that can help keep you safe. Stay focused. This means keeping your full attention on the road and your surroundings. Don't allow distractions like phone calls, adjusting the radio, or talking to passengers to pull your focus from the road. 2. Predict other drivers' actions. Always be aware of the traffic around you and try to predict what other drivers might do. Look out for drivers who are speeding, swerving, or not signaling, and adjust your driving to avoid them. 3. Maintain safe distances. The 3-second rule is a good way to ensure you have enough time to stop if the vehicle in front of you brakes suddenly. In bad weather, increase that to 4 or 5 seconds. Use your mirrors. Regularly check your mirrors and blind spots to be aware of what's happening around you. This is especially important when changing lanes or merging onto highways. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. Whether you're a driver, cyclist, or pedestrian, being aware of the risks and taking preventive measures can significantly reduce the chances of accidents. Remember, driving is a privilege and it comes with great responsibility. By practicing safe driving habits, maintaining your vehicle, and staying alert, you can play a key role in making roads safer for everyone. Let's all work together to reduce the number of accidents and save lives. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more important safety tips. Stay safe on the road.
Accidents can happen in the blink of an eye. One moment, everything seems fine, and the next, chaos erupts. Whether it's on the road, at home, or in the workplace, accidents are unpredictable, and the impact can be devastating. But what causes accidents, and more importantly, how can we prevent them? Let's begin by understanding that most accidents are preventable. Human error, distraction, and negligence are often the leading causes. For instance, on the road, distracted driving, speeding, and failure to follow traffic rules are common culprits. A few seconds of distraction, like checking your phone or changing a song, can result in serious consequences. The roads are not just for vehicles. Pedestrians, cyclists, and other drivers are equally at risk. It's crucial to stay focused, maintain a safe speed, and always be aware of your surroundings. One of the most important aspects of accident prevention is understanding the dangers of multitasking behind the wheel. Driving is an activity that demands our full attention. Unfortunately, too many people believe they can manage multiple tasks while driving, texting, eating, or even adjusting the radio. But in reality, every time we divert our attention from the road, even for a split second, we're increasing the likelihood of an accident. A car moving at 60 miles per hour covers 88 feet per second. That means just a momentary glance at your phone can be the difference between life and death. Then there's speeding, another major factor. Many drivers underestimate the dangers of speeding, thinking that it's harmless, especially if they're running late. But speed limits are there for a reason. They're not just arbitrary numbers. They're designed to keep everyone on the road safe. When we speed, we reduce the amount of time we have to react to unexpected events. A child running into the street, a car suddenly stopping ahead. These are situations where every second counts. Slowing down gives us those critical extra seconds to respond appropriately and avoid a crash. Seatbelts are another simple yet incredibly effective tool in accident prevention. Studies have shown that wearing a seatbelt can reduce the risk of death in a car crash by up to 50%. It's such a small action, but it can make a world of difference. Yet, too many people still don't wear them, whether it's because they find them uncomfortable or they believe they're unnecessary for short trips. But here's the thing. Most accidents happen close to home, often on routes we travel daily. So, no matter how short the journey, buckle up every time. Let's not forget about motorcycle and bicycle safety. Wearing a helmet may not prevent an accident, but it can significantly reduce the severity of injuries. A helmet acts as a protective barrier for the most vulnerable part of your body, your head. It's astonishing how many riders take to the streets without this basic form of protection, believing that it's unnecessary or uncool. But the reality is, a helmet can be the difference between a minor injury and a life-threatening one. Now, let's shift focus for a moment and talk about accidents at home. You might not think of your house as a dangerous place, but many accidents occur within our homes. Slips and falls are among the most common household accidents, especially in areas like bathrooms and kitchens, where floors can be wet and slippery. It's important to keep walkways clear of clutter, use non-slip mats, and ensure proper lighting to prevent falls. Simple measures like installing grab bars in the shower or using a step stool with a handle can help reduce the risk of injury. Electrical accidents are another hidden danger in the home. Faulty wiring, overloaded outlets, and mishandling of electrical appliances can lead to fires or serious shocks. Regularly checking your electrical system and appliances for wear and tear, and never overloading outlets can prevent these accidents. If you're unsure about the safety of your electrical system, consider hiring a professional to inspect it. When we look at the workplace, accidents are often the result of carelessness or failure to follow safety protocols. Whether it's in an office, a construction site, or a factory, there are always hazards that we need to be aware of. For those working in high-risk environments, wearing personal protective equipment, like helmets, gloves, and goggles, is essential. Following safety protocols might seem time-consuming, but they're designed to keep you safe. Cutting corners can have dire consequences. Another aspect of workplace safety is ergonomics. Many people spend hours at a desk, staring at a computer screen. Over time, this can lead to musculoskeletal problems, eye strain, and even chronic pain. Taking regular breaks, maintaining good posture, and ensuring your workspace is ergonomically friendly can help prevent these issues. While these may not seem like accidents in the traditional sense, they're still preventable injuries that can have a long-term impact on your health. Beyond individual responsibility, there's a larger societal aspect to accident prevention. Communities can work together to create safer environments. This can include advocating for better road infrastructure, like adding pedestrian crossings, improving lighting, and creating bike lanes. It also means supporting laws that promote safety, like seatbelt mandates, helmet laws, and regulations around distracted driving. Governments and organizations have a responsibility to ensure that public spaces, roads, and workplaces are designed with safety in mind. In conclusion, accidents are a part of life, but many of them are preventable. Whether it's staying focused on the road, taking precautions at home, or following safety protocols at work, there are simple actions we can take to protect ourselves and others. Safety isn't just about avoiding danger in the moment. It's about being mindful of the risks around us and taking steps to mitigate them. By being proactive and responsible, likelihood of accidents and create a safer world for everyone. As we reach the end of this discussion on accidents and safety, it's essential to reflect on the common theme that ties everything together: prevention. Accidents, by their very nature, are unexpected, but that doesn't mean they are unavoidable. In fact, most accidents happen due to factors within our control, whether it's a momentary distraction, a failure to follow safety guidelines, or simply underestimating the risks around us. Think about the roads we drive on every day. How often do we see someone speeding, texting while driving, or ignoring basic traffic rules? It might seem harmless in the moment, but these actions have the potential to change lives in an instant. Every year, thousands of lives are lost due to accidents that could have been prevented if drivers had simply paid more attention or followed the rules of the road. And it's not just drivers who are at risk. Pedestrians, cyclists, and motorcyclists are also vulnerable to accidents caused by carelessness. Driving demands our full attention. Multitasking behind the wheel, whether it's eating, adjusting the radio, or checking your phone, drastically increases the risk of an accident. We need to shift our mindset and recognize that nothing is more important than keeping our eyes on the road. The consequences of even a few seconds of distraction can be catastrophic. Speeding is another dangerous habit that many people overlook. Speed limits are put in place to ensure that drivers have enough time to react to unexpected situations. Whether it's a child running into the street or a car stopping abruptly, those extra few seconds gained by driving within the speed limit can mean the difference between a near miss and a deadly collision. By simply slowing down and respecting speed limits, we can significantly reduce the risk of accidents. It's also important to mention the life-saving power of seatbelts. Something as simple as buckling up can cut the risk of fatal injury in a car crash by nearly half. Yet many people still don't wear them, often because they think they're unnecessary for short trips. But most accidents happen close to home, on routes we drive every day. Buckling your seatbelt every time you get in the car should be second nature. It's a small habit that can make a huge difference. Safety isn't just about what we do on the roads. In our homes, accidents can happen when we least expect them. Slips and falls are the most common household accidents, especially in areas like bathrooms and kitchens. Simple steps like keeping walkways clear of clutter, using non-slip mats, and ensuring adequate lighting can go a long way in preventing falls. It's about being aware of your environment and making small changes that reduce risks. Electrical safety is another crucial factor in preventing household accidents. Faulty wiring, overloading power outlets, or mishandling electrical appliances can lead to serious injuries or fires. Regularly inspecting electrical systems, using appliances correctly, and never overloading outlets are simple precautions that can prevent accidents. It's always better to invest time in safety measures than to face the consequences of neglect. In the workplace, the same principle of awareness and prevention applies. No matter what environment you work in, whether it's an office, a construction site, or a factory, there are always risks. Following safety guidelines, using protective equipment, and maintaining a clutter-free workspace can significantly reduce the chances of an accident. While safety protocols might sometimes feel like a hassle, they're there for a reason, to keep us safe. As a society, we all play a role in creating a safer environment. Governments and organizations must ensure that roads, public spaces, and workplaces are designed with safety in mind. At the same time, individuals need to take responsibility for their actions and prioritize safety in their daily lives. In conclusion, accidents may be unexpected, but they don't have to be inevitable. Whether you're driving, at home, or at work, taking the time to think about safety can prevent a tragedy. Stay focused, follow the rules, and always be aware of your surroundings. The choices you make today can save lives tomorrow. So let's make safety a habit, not just for ourselves, but for everyone around us. Because at the end of the day, nothing is more important than protecting life. Accidents happen in an instant, often without warning, and can leave a lasting impact on our lives. Whether it's a road accident, a workplace injury, or a mishap at home, accidents remind us of how fragile and unpredictable life can be. But the good news is that many accidents are preventable, and with awareness and action, we can significantly reduce the risks. Let's start by looking at road accidents. Every year, millions of people around the world are injured or lose their lives in road crashes. The main reasons? Distracted driving, speeding, not wearing seat belts, and ignoring basic traffic rules. It's easy to get comfortable behind the wheel, but every time we drive, we need to remember that we are responsible for our safety and the safety of others. One of the biggest dangers on the road is distracted driving. We live in a time where smartphones are always within reach, and it's tempting to glance at a text or change a song while driving. But even a moment of distraction can lead to disaster. When you're driving at high speeds, every second matters. Keeping your attention on the road, hands on the wheel, and phone away could be the difference between a safe trip and a fatal crash. Speeding is another significant factor in road accidents. When we speed, we reduce the time we have to react to unexpected situations, like a car suddenly stopping in front of us or a pedestrian stepping into the street. The faster you go, the harder it is to stop in time. And even if you think you're in control, speed limits exist for a reason. They are calculated based on the safest speeds for the road conditions. By staying within the limits, we protect ourselves and others. Let's also talk about seatbelts. It's surprising that in 2024, some people still don't wear them regularly. Seatbelts save lives by keeping you secure in your seat during an accident. They prevent you from being thrown from the vehicle and help spread the force of impact across your body. Always buckle up, no matter how short the trip or how familiar the route. It's such a simple action, yet it can make all the difference. Now let's move away from the roads and talk about safety in our homes. Many of us don't think of our homes as places where accidents can happen. But slips, falls, burns, and electrical accidents are far more common than we realize. A wet floor, cluttered walkways, or an unguarded stove can lead to serious injury. Something as small as putting a non-slip mat in the bathroom, clearing clutter from hallways, or installing smoke detectors can dramatically increase safety at home. Falls are one of the most common accidents in homes, especially for children and the elderly. Taking preventive steps like using railings on stairs, adding lighting in dark areas, and ensuring floors are dry and clean can prevent these accidents. Likewise, electrical accidents can be dangerous and even fatal if not handled properly. Regularly check for faulty wiring, don't overload power sockets, and unplug devices when they're not in use. In the workplace, accidents often happen when we rush or cut corners, thinking we're saving time. But ignoring safety rules can lead to serious injuries, from falls to exposure to hazardous materials. Whether you work in an office or a factory, always follow safety protocols. Wear protective gear when needed, report any hazards immediately, and never underestimate the importance of taking regular breaks to avoid fatigue. Even something as simple as maintaining good posture at a desk can prevent long-term health issues. Accidents may be a part of life, but their frequency can be reduced with a proactive approach to safety. By staying aware of our surroundings, following basic safety rules, and always thinking one step ahead, we can prevent many of the incidents that disrupt lives and cause harm. As we conclude, it's important to reinforce that safety is not just about avoiding accidents in the moment. It's about adopting a mindset that prioritizes caution and preparedness in every aspect of life. Whether you're on the road, at home, or in the workplace, safety starts with awareness and ends with action. Think about the times when you've seen someone texting while driving or speeding through a red light. Maybe you've done it yourself. It's easy to feel like we're invincible or that accidents only happen to other people. But the reality is, accidents don't discriminate. They can happen to anyone, at any time, in the most unexpected ways. That's why it's essential to stay focused and mindful, especially in situations where safety is at stake. Let's revisit road safety for a moment. Every day, people take risks on the road, whether it's running late to work or trying to get through traffic faster. But those risks often have consequences far greater than we anticipate. Speeding might save you a few minutes, but it can cost lives. Texting while driving might seem like a harmless multitask, but it can result in irreversible damage. We have to shift our mentality from convenience to responsibility. Driving is not just a task, it's a serious responsibility where lives are quite literally at stake. Every decision we make on the road has the potential to affect more than just ourselves. As we conclude, it's important to reinforce that safety is not just about avoiding accidents in the moment. It's about adopting a mindset that prioritizes caution and preparedness in every aspect of life. Whether you're on the road, at home, or in the workplace, safety starts with awareness and ends with action. Think about the times when you've seen someone texting while driving or speeding through a red light. Maybe you've done it yourself. It's easy to feel like we're invincible or that accidents only happen to other people. But the reality is, accidents don't discriminate. They can happen to anyone, at any time, in the most unexpected ways. That's why it's essential to stay focused and mindful, especially in situations where safety is at stake. Let's revisit road safety for a moment. Every day, people take risks on the road, whether it's running late to work or trying to get through traffic faster. But those risks often have consequences far greater than we anticipate. Speeding might save you a few minutes, but it can cost lives. Texting while driving might seem like a harmless multitask, but it can result in irreversible damage. We have to shift our mentality from convenience to responsibility. Driving is not just a task, it's a serious responsibility where lives are quite literally at stake. Every decision we make on the road has the potential to affect more than just ourselves. But safety doesn't end when we park the car. It extends into our homes, workplaces, and even recreational activities. At home, seemingly minor hazards can cause serious harm if we're not careful. How often do we leave cords lying on the floor or rush to cook dinner without paying full attention to the stove? These moments of carelessness can result in fires, falls, or electrical shocks, all of which are avoidable with just a little more awareness and caution. Workplace safety is equally important. Many of us spend a large portion of our day at work, where the risks can range from ergonomic injuries in an office setting to life-threatening accidents in industrial environments. Following safety protocols, using protective gear, and reporting hazards immediately are small actions that can make a huge difference. It's easy to get complacent, especially when the risks don't seem immediate, but maintaining a culture of safety can protect not only yourself, but your coworkers as well. Beyond our individual actions, there's a larger societal responsibility for safety. Governments, companies, and communities all play a role in creating safer environments. Proper road design, public safety campaigns, and workplace safety regulations are just a few examples of how society can contribute to reducing accidents. But these measures are only effective if we as individuals commit to following them. After all, laws and regulations are just words on paper without our willingness to follow them. In the end, safety is about caring for yourself, for others, and for the world around you. It's about recognizing that accidents, while sometimes inevitable, can often be prevented with simple precautions and mindful behavior. By taking responsibility for our actions, staying aware of our surroundings, and adopting a proactive approach to safety, we can minimize the risks that life throws our way. So, as you move forward from this video, remember, safety isn't a one-time consideration. It's an everyday commitment. Make safety a habit, not just for your own well-being, but for the people you care about and the community you live in. Stay safe, stay alert, and always choose caution over convenience, because nothing is more valuable than life itself.
Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into the world of high-performance supercars, where the price tags are high, but so are the risks. Sit tight as we take you through some of the most jaw-dropping, heart-stopping, and downright unbelievable supercar fails ever caught on camera. Buckle up, because this ride is going to be wild. The show-off disaster. First up, we have a scene that's all too familiar in the supercar world. A stunning, sleek machine rolling up to a crowd, the driver revving the engine, eager to show off. And then, in just seconds, the unthinkable happens. The car spins out of control, tires screeching, and bam, into a nearby curb, or worse, another car. It's the kind of moment where you can't help but cringe, wondering how something so powerful can become so unpredictable. Misjudged corners. Next, let's talk about sharp corners. We've all seen it. Supercars tearing down winding roads, engines roaring. But what happens when a driver misjudges a turn? In a split second, that beastly machine is fishtailing, veering off course, and sometimes even flipping. It's a reminder that even the most advanced engineering can't save you from a poor decision behind the wheel. Parking lot blunders. Believe it or not, even million-dollar machines fall victim to the simplest mistakes, like parking lot mishaps. You'd think backing into a spot would be easy, but not when the driver's overly confident or distracted. A tiny misstep, and we're watching as this beautiful car crunches against a wall, or worse, another vehicle. The damage might seem small, but the repair bill? Definitely not. Street racing gone wrong. Now, we've all seen those supercars burning rubber in street races, but what happens when they push their limits a little too far? A drag race starts out fast and furious, but soon enough, one car loses control, spinning out, skidding across lanes, or even slamming into barriers. It's a brutal reminder that these aren't just toys for showing off. They demand respect and skill. Off-road fiascos. As much as we love seeing supercars on the track, sometimes drivers get a bit ambitious. Taking a low-slung supercar off-road is just asking for trouble. Imagine a sleek, shiny machine barreling down a dirt path, bouncing over rocks and potholes. It's not long before we see it stuck in the mud, tires spinning, or worse, bottoming out with a painful thud. A costly mistake for sure. Weather woes. Even the best drivers can be caught off guard by Mother Nature. Imagine this: a supercar speeding along on a sunny day, when suddenly the skies open up and rain pours down. The roads become slick, and that's when we see it, hydroplaning. In the blink of an eye, the car skids out of control, crashing into a guardrail or spinning across the highway. It's a stark reminder that no amount of horsepower can save you from wet roads. Overconfidence crash. One of the most common causes of supercar fails? Overconfidence. You'll see it time and time again. A driver takes their machine to the limit, pushing too hard, too fast. Whether it's trying to pull off a drift, weaving through traffic, or attempting an impossible maneuver, the result is usually the same: a devastating crash that leaves the car in pieces and the driver in disbelief. Track day terrors. Even on the racetrack, where supercars are meant to thrive, things can go horribly wrong. You might think that on a closed course, these cars would be in their element, but one wrong move, an overzealous acceleration, or a miscalculated brake, and we're watching a supercar spin out, slam into barriers, or flip over in a cloud of smoke. It's a shocking reminder that no matter how much you spend, mistakes can be costly. Burnout backfires. Who doesn't love a good burnout? The smell of burning rubber, the roar of the engine, it's a supercar fan's dream. But when that power is mishandled, it can quickly turn into a nightmare. A driver attempts a burnout, but instead of gracefully spinning in place, the car lurches forward, slamming into a crowd or a nearby obstacle. What was supposed to be a display of control becomes a chaotic disaster, reminding us that even a simple burnout can go horribly wrong if not executed perfectly. The thrill of launching a supercar from a standstill. It's a test of speed, power, and adrenaline. But in some cases, it's a test of balance too. A driver floors the accelerator, but instead of a smooth launch, the tires spin uncontrollably. The back end swerves, and suddenly the car is veering wildly off the road. With so much torque and power under the hood, a failed launch can result in a dangerous and costly mistake. Exhaust flames gone wrong. Supercars with their high-octane engines are known for spitting flames from the exhaust. A jaw-dropping spectacle, right? But sometimes, those flames can go a little too far. In one case, a driver revs the engine to get those flames shooting, but they get more than they bargained for when the flames spread. A few seconds of showboating turns into a full-blown fire hazard. It's a reminder that playing with fire, literally, can lead to some unexpected and expensive consequences. So there you have it, folks. Some of the most epic and expensive supercar fails that prove just how unforgiving these machines can be. Whether it's a small parking lot fender bender or a high-speed crash on the track, owning a supercar is as much about skill as it is about style. Remember, driving one of these beasts might look cool, but as we've seen today, things can go south fast if you're not careful. Thanks for watching, and if you want more thrilling car content, hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss any future videos. Until next time, drive safe.
Buckle up, because you're about to witness some of the most shocking car crashes of 2024. Whether it's distracted driving, reckless speeding, or just pure bad luck, these moments captured on camera show just how quickly things can go wrong on the road. Stay tuned for a wild ride through heart-stopping accidents, close calls, and everything in between. Driving is something most of us do every day, but it's easy to forget just how dangerous the road can be. With thousands of vehicles zipping around, one mistake can lead to a crash in a matter of seconds. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened to the drivers you're about to see. We'll start with a reminder of why speeding is one of the most common causes of accidents. It may feel like you're saving time, but the risks far outweigh the rewards. High-speed collisions are not only more likely to happen, but they also cause more severe damage. When you're traveling at excessive speeds, it's harder to react to sudden changes on the road, whether it's a sharp turn, another car pulling out, or a pedestrian crossing. And as you'll see throughout this video, speed kills. Literally. Next, let's talk about distracted driving. We've all heard it before. Keep your eyes on the road and your hands on the wheel. But despite the warnings, distracted driving remains one of the leading causes of accidents worldwide. A few seconds of glancing at your phone or fiddling with the radio can result in a lifetime of regret. You'll witness drivers in this video who learned that lesson the hard way. It only takes a moment of distraction to miss something critical. A stop sign, another car in your lane, or a sudden slowdown in traffic. By the time you look up, it's often too late. But distractions come in many forms. While texting is one of the biggest culprits, even talking to passengers or eating behind the wheel can be enough to divert your attention. The crashes you're about to see prove that no distraction is worth the risk. And then we have the dangers of weather conditions. Rain, snow, and fog create dangerous conditions that demand extra caution. Reduced visibility and slick roads can turn a routine drive into a nightmare if you're not prepared. Many drivers underestimate the power of nature and overestimate their own abilities, leading to skids, spinouts, and devastating crashes. Some of the most shocking accidents caught on camera happen because drivers don't slow down or adjust their driving in hazardous weather. It's a mistake you won't want to make. Let's not forget about the chaos caused by impatient drivers. Whether they're cutting lanes without signaling or trying to speed through red lights, these risk takers not only endanger themselves, but everyone around them. Impatience leads to aggression, and aggression leads to accidents. In today's footage, you'll see a few reckless drivers who learned the hard way that it's better to wait a few seconds than risk a life-changing crash. Another cause of accidents: driver fatigue. Many of us push ourselves to the limit, driving long hours without proper rest. But drowsy driving can be just as dangerous as driving under the influence. Reaction times slow down, awareness drops, and before you know it, you could be nodding off at the wheel. What you'll see in these clips are drivers who lost control because they ignored the warning signs of fatigue, putting themselves and others at risk. If you're tired, it's always better to pull over and rest rather than power through and risk a serious accident. Speaking of impaired driving, it's no surprise that driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs is another major cause of crashes. The drivers caught in this footage show what can happen when someone gets behind the wheel after one too many drinks. They may think they're in control, but the reality is very different. Alcohol slows your reaction time, impairs your judgment, and increases the likelihood of a crash. Remember, if you drink, don't drive. It's not worth the risk to your life or anyone else's. As we continue, you'll see a few examples of something we all fear: losing control of the vehicle. Whether it's a blown tire, mechanical failure, or simply taking a corner too fast, there are moments when the car slips out of the driver's control. When that happens, it's all about luck. Who's around you, what's ahead of you, and how quickly you can react. Unfortunately, as these drivers found out, sometimes it's impossible to regain control in time. Throughout this video, you'll also notice that many accidents involve multiple cars. Once a crash happens, it can create a chain reaction, especially on busy highways or intersections. One bad decision can lead to a pileup in the blink of an eye. That's why it's so important to keep a safe distance from the vehicle in front of you and stay aware of your surroundings at all times. Finally, you'll see a few near misses. Not every story ends in disaster, and sometimes drivers get lucky, just narrowly avoiding a collision. But these close calls are just as important as the crashes, reminding us that danger is always just around the corner. It's a testament to how quickly things can change on the road. So what can we learn from these shocking moments? That the road is a dangerous place, and every time you get behind the wheel, you're responsible for your safety and the safety of others. Whether it's slowing down, staying focused, or giving yourself enough time to react, small decisions can make a big difference. Let these clips be a reminder. Drive smart, drive safe, and always be aware of the risks. Thanks for watching Shocking Car Crashes 2024. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more crazy moments on the road. Stay safe out there.
What to do in case of an accident, a guide to road safety. Introduction. Accidents are one of those things no one ever expects, but can happen to anyone at any time and in any place. One moment, you're driving along smoothly, and the next, everything can change in an instant. When accidents happen, they can be stressful, scary, and disorienting, which is why it's so important to be prepared. Knowing what to do in those first few moments can make a world of difference, not only for your safety, but for everyone involved. In today's video, we're going to take a deep dive into what to do in case of an accident. We'll walk you through every step, from before, during, and after a car accident, so that you're ready to handle the situation calmly and effectively. Let's get started. Before the accident, being prepared. No one likes to think about being in an accident, but the truth is that preparation starts long before anything happens on the road. Being proactive can save you a lot of stress if something does go wrong. So, what steps can you take to be ready? First, it's essential to keep all your documentation in order. Make sure you have your driver's license, vehicle registration, and insurance information up to date and easily accessible. These documents should always be in your car. In the event of an accident, you don't want to be scrambling through your glove compartment, looking for that one missing piece of paper. Having valid insurance is crucial. It's not just the law in most places, it's your safety net in case something goes wrong. Make sure your policy is current and you understand what it covers. Do you know your coverage limits for property damage, medical costs, or even legal defense if needed? Being clear on these details beforehand helps avoid confusion when you're under stress. Next, let's talk about your car itself. Regular maintenance can be the difference between getting home safely and finding yourself in a dangerous situation. Check your tires regularly, make sure your brakes are working properly, and always ensure your lights and signals are functioning. These may seem like small things, but they're vital for your safety on the road. Also, don't underestimate the importance of having an emergency kit in your car. This should include items like a first aid kit, a flashlight, reflective triangles, a fire extinguisher, and basic tools like a tire jack and wrench. These items can be lifesavers if you're in an accident or your car breaks down in a dangerous location. Finally, always wear your seatbelt. It's such a simple thing, but it can save your life. Studies have shown that seatbelts reduce the risk of serious injury by 45% in accidents. Not only should you be buckled in, but make sure your passengers are too, especially kids, who should be in proper car seats or booster seats. So before you even hit the road, make sure you're fully prepared. It's not just about avoiding tickets or being a responsible driver, it's about protecting yourself and those around you. During the accident, staying calm and taking control. Now let's fast forward to the moment you never want to face. You've been in an accident. Maybe it's just a minor fender bender, or perhaps it's something more serious. Regardless, the steps you take immediately following the crash are critical. The first thing you need to do is stay calm. That's easier said than done, but panic only makes things worse. Take a deep breath and remind yourself that you're in control of what happens next. Now, assess the situation. Are you injured? Is anyone else in the car hurt? If you or anyone else is injured, the first step is to call emergency services right away. Even if the injuries seem minor, it's important to let professionals assess the situation. You might not realize the extent of an injury in the heat of the moment. If the accident is minor and no one is severely injured, the next thing to do is to move to safety. If your car is still drivable, move it to the side of the road or out of the flow of traffic. This helps prevent further accidents. If your car isn't drivable, turn on your hazard lights and stay inside the vehicle until help arrives, especially if you're on a busy road or highway. Getting out of the car in heavy traffic can be extremely dangerous, so it's often safer to stay put. If you have an emergency kit with you, use reflective triangles or road flares to warn other drivers. This is especially important at night or in bad weather when visibility is poor. Now comes a critical step, exchanging information. Once you've ensured everyone is okay, you'll need to get the other driver's details. This includes their name, phone number, insurance information, and license plate number. But here's something important to remember. Do not admit fault or apologize at the scene. Even if you think you might be to blame, it's best to let the insurance companies and law enforcement sort that out. Apologizing can sometimes be interpreted as an admission of guilt, which can complicate things later. Also, if there are any witnesses around, ask them for their contact information. Their statements could be important if there's any dispute over what happened. If you have your phone with you, and let's face it, who doesn't these days? Take pictures of the accident scene. Document the position of the cars, any visible damage, and the road conditions. These photos can be incredibly useful when filing an insurance claim or if there's a legal issue down the road. And speaking of legal issues, if the accident is more than just a minor scrape, or if there's significant damage or injury, it's important to call the police. They will document the scene, create an accident report, and in some cases, determine fault. Even if the other driver suggests you handle it privately without getting the police involved, it's almost always better to have an official report filed. You never know how things will turn out later, and it's better to have that legal protection. After the accident, what comes next? Once the immediate danger has passed and the situation is under control, what should you do next? First and foremost, you should seek medical attention. Even if you feel fine, some injuries might not be immediately apparent. For example, whiplash is a common injury that can show up hours or even days after an accident. The adrenaline rush you experience during the crash can mask pain, so don't assume you're unharmed. It's always best to get checked out by a medical professional, just to be sure. Next, notify your insurance company as soon as possible. The sooner you get the ball rolling on a claim, the better. Provide them with all the details, including the other driver's information, the police report if one was filed, and any photos you took of the scene. The claims process can sometimes take a while, so it's better to start it right away. When you talk to your insurance company, stick to the facts. Don't speculate or offer opinions about what caused the accident. Just tell them what happened to the best of your ability and let them handle the investigation. If the accident was serious, or if there are any disputes about who was at fault, you may want to consult a personal injury lawyer. They can help you navigate the legal process, especially if there are potential lawsuits involved. A lawyer can also make sure your rights are protected and help you get compensation for medical bills, car repairs, and other damages. Another step that's often overlooked is keeping records. Document everything related to the accident. Medical bills, repair estimates, emails with your insurance company, and any communication with the other driver or their insurer. Having a paper trail can be extremely useful if there are any disputes or delays in the claims process. Finally, take care of yourself. Being in an accident can be physically and emotionally draining. It's normal to feel shaken up, even if the crash wasn't severe. Give yourself time to recover, both physically and mentally. And if you're having trouble coping with the emotional aftermath of the accident, don't hesitate to talk to a counselor or therapist. Most importantly, try not to let the incident define your future driving experiences. Getting back on the road after an accident can be intimidating, but it's a necessary step toward moving on. Take your time, ease back into it, and don't rush the process. You'll regain your confidence behind the wheel as time goes by. Staying safe on the road, preventative measures. While we've talked about what to do before, during, and after an accident, it's also important to discuss how you can prevent accidents in the first place. Road safety is something every driver should take seriously, and there are several key tips to help minimize the risk of being involved in a crash. One of the most important things you can do is avoid distractions while driving. This means no texting, no browsing social media, and no phone calls without hands-free technology. Even a split second of distraction can lead to disaster. Keep your focus on the road and the drivers around you. If you need to take a call or send a message, pull over safely to do so. In addition to distractions, speeding is another major cause of accidents. Speed limits are in place for a reason, and exceeding them increases both the likelihood and severity of a crash. Speed limits are calculated based on road conditions, traffic, and other factors, so respecting them keeps you and others safe. Remember, the faster you're going, the less time you have to react to unexpected situations. Another key factor in road safety is obeying traffic signals and signs. This may seem obvious, but running red lights or ignoring stop signs can have deadly consequences. Intersections are one of the most common places for accidents to occur, so always be extra cautious when approaching one. Even if you have the right of way, be aware of what other drivers are doing. Don't assume they'll follow the rules. Weather conditions can also play a significant role in road safety. Rain, snow, fog, and ice all make driving more dangerous, so it's important to adjust your driving accordingly. Slow down, increase your following distance, and turn on your headlights to increase visibility. If the weather is particularly bad, consider delaying your trip until conditions improve. Your safety is always more important than arriving on time. Another thing to keep in mind is defensive driving. This means being aware of your surroundings and anticipating potential hazards. Don't just focus on the car in front of you. Look further down the road to spot any issues before they become a problem. Keep a safe distance from other vehicles and be prepared for unexpected actions from other drivers, such as sudden stops or lane changes. Lastly, make sure your suspension and steering systems are in good shape. If you notice that your car is pulling to one side, or if the ride feels unusually bumpy or unstable, have a mechanic take a look. Problems with the suspension or steering can make your vehicle harder to control, increasing the risk of an accident. By staying on top of regular maintenance, you can reduce the chances of being caught off guard by a breakdown or a mechanical issue. A well-maintained vehicle is a safer vehicle, and it's a key part of being a responsible driver. Handling legal matters after an accident. Once the dust has settled after an accident, the legal side of things begins to take center stage. Handling these matters promptly and correctly is crucial in ensuring that you are protected and that any compensation or coverage you may be entitled to is secured. The first step is to contact your insurance company as soon as possible. Most insurance providers have a set period during which you must report an accident, so don't delay. Provide them with all the details of the accident, including any pictures or documentation you've gathered. This will help speed up the process and ensure that your claim is handled efficiently. When dealing with insurance companies, it's important to be truthful and provide accurate information. Any discrepancies or misleading statements could complicate your claim or lead to it being denied. Stick to the facts and let the insurance adjusters handle the investigation. In cases where the accident was severe or caused significant damage, you may also need to consult a personal injury lawyer. A lawyer can help navigate the complexities of legal proceedings, especially if there is a dispute about who was at fault or if the other party involved is being uncooperative. A good lawyer will assist you in gathering evidence, dealing with insurance companies, and representing you in court if necessary. They can also help you understand your rights and what compensation you may be entitled to, whether for medical bills, lost wages, or pain and suffering. If the accident involves significant injuries or legal disputes, it's important to document everything. Keep copies of all medical records, repair bills, and any other paperwork related to the accident. This documentation will be essential if you end up going to court or negotiating a settlement. In the unfortunate event that someone involved in the accident decides to file a lawsuit, having all your documentation in order will make it much easier to defend yourself. Legal matters can be daunting, but with the right support and preparation, you can protect your rights and ensure that you are fairly treated. Emotional recovery after an accident. Being involved in a car accident can take a toll on your mental health, even if the injuries or damage were minor. It's important to acknowledge the emotional impact that an accident can have and take steps to recover mentally as well as physically. It's normal to feel shaken or anxious after an accident. You may experience fear, anger, or even guilt, especially if you believe the accident could have been avoided. These emotions are completely valid, and it's important to give yourself time to process them. In the days and weeks following the accident, you might find yourself feeling nervous about getting back behind the wheel. This is a common reaction, but it's important to take small steps to rebuild your confidence. Start by driving short distances in familiar areas, gradually working your way up to longer trips. If you're finding it particularly hard to move past the accident, or if you're experiencing symptoms of post-traumatic stress, it may be helpful to speak with a professional therapist. Therapy can provide valuable tools for coping with anxiety and help you work through any lingering fears. Support from friends and family can also be a big help in your emotional recovery. Talk to your loved ones about how you're feeling, and don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Whether it's a ride to an appointment or simply someone to talk to, leaning on others can make the recovery process a little easier. Practicing mindfulness or other relaxation techniques can also help reduce feelings of stress or anxiety. Activities like meditation, deep breathing exercises, or yoga can help calm your mind and body. allowing you to process your emotions in a healthy way. Most importantly, be patient with yourself. Recovery, both physical and emotional, takes time. There's no set timeline for when you should feel normal again after an accident, so don't put pressure on yourself to bounce back right away. Take things one day at a time, and remember that it's okay to seek help if you need it. Understanding your rights as a passenger in an accident. It's important to note that as a passenger in a car, you also have certain rights if you're involved in an accident. Many people are unsure of what steps to take as a passenger, but knowing your rights can help you navigate the situation and ensure you get the help you need. First, if you're injured in the accident, you may be entitled to medical compensation. This compensation can come from the driver's insurance, depending on who was at fault for the accident. Just like drivers, passengers should always seek medical attention after an accident, even if they don't feel immediate pain or injury. Passengers should also gather as much information as possible after an accident. This includes the names and contact details of all drivers involved, insurance information, and any witnesses to the accident. Passengers are typically not considered responsible for accidents, so having this information can help if you need to make an insurance claim or if legal action is taken. One thing to remember as a passenger is that you can file a claim against both the driver of your vehicle and the other party involved if they share fault. This means that you're not limited to just one claim. Your injuries may entitle you to compensation from multiple sources, including personal injury protection, coverage, or the at-fault driver's liability insurance. If you're hesitant about dealing with the legalities on your own, consider consulting a personal injury lawyer who can help guide you through the process. They can ensure that you receive the appropriate compensation for your injuries, including medical bills, lost wages, and pain and suffering. Passengers are often overlooked in the aftermath of a car accident, but they have just as much right to compensation and care as drivers. Understanding your rights and taking the necessary steps can ensure that you're not left facing the consequences of an accident without support. What to do if you witness a car accident. Being a witness to a car accident can be just as stressful as being involved in one. However, there are steps you can take to help ensure that those involved get the assistance they need. Witnesses can play a vital role in providing crucial information and helping accident victims. If you witness an accident, the first thing to do is ensure your own safety. Pull over to a safe location before getting out of your vehicle and never stop in a way that could cause another accident. Once you're safely out of harm's way, check to see if those involved in the accident need assistance. Call emergency services if necessary. If you see that someone is injured or if the accident is serious, dial emergency services immediately and provide them with as much information as possible, such as the location of the accident and the number of vehicles involved. After making sure that help is on the way, if it's safe, approach the accident scene and offer assistance. Keep in mind that you should not attempt to move anyone who is injured unless there is an immediate danger, such as a fire. Offering comfort and support while waiting for professional help can go a long way in keeping accident victims calm. As a witness, your role doesn't end once emergency responders arrive. You may be asked to provide a statement about what you saw, which can be invaluable in determining the cause of the accident. Be as clear and factual as possible when describing the events you witnessed. Avoid making assumptions or offering opinions about who was at fault. If asked, share your contact information with the police or those involved in the accident. Your account may be needed later on, especially if legal action is taken. Witness statements can be essential for accident reports, insurance claims, and legal proceedings, so your cooperation is important. By acting calmly and responsibly, you can help those involved in an accident receive the care they need and ensure that the proper authorities have the information necessary to handle the situation. The role of technology in road safety. In today's world, technology is playing an increasingly important role in road safety. From advanced driver assistance systems, ADAS, to apps that help prevent distracted driving, there are numerous tools available that can make our roads safer. One of the most prominent technologies in modern vehicles is ADAS, which includes features like lane departure warnings, adaptive cruise control, and automatic emergency braking. These systems are designed to assist drivers in avoiding accidents by alerting them to potential hazards, and in some cases, even taking control of the vehicle to prevent a collision. For example, automatic emergency braking can detect when a car is getting too close to another vehicle or object and apply the brakes if the driver doesn't react in time. This feature alone has been shown to significantly reduce rear-end collisions and mitigate the severity of crashes. Another technological advancement is lane keeping assistance, which helps prevent drivers from unintentionally drifting out of their lanes. This is especially useful for long-distance drivers who may become fatigued or distracted. The system provides an alert or gently steers the vehicle back into its lane if it detects that the car is moving out of its designated path. In addition to in-car technologies, smartphone apps have emerged as valuable tools for road safety. Apps like Drive Mode or Lifesaver are designed to block incoming notifications while driving, reducing the temptation to check your phone and get distracted. These apps can be particularly helpful for new or young drivers who may be more prone to distractions. Other apps can provide real-time traffic updates, road hazard warnings, and even vehicle diagnostics. Knowing what's happening on the road ahead can give drivers more time to react to potential dangers and adjust their driving accordingly. Vehicle manufacturers are also incorporating telematics systems, road safety for commercial drivers. Looking to the future, autonomous driving is one of the most anticipated developments in road safety. While fully self-driving cars are still in the testing phase, the potential for these vehicles to reduce human error, the leading cause of car accidents, is enormous. Autonomous cars could eliminate issues like distracted driving, speeding, and drunk driving, making roads safer for everyone. However, with these technological advancements also comes the need for responsibility. Drivers should not become overly reliant on systems like ADAS or autopilot features. Technology is a valuable aid, but it's not foolproof, and the driver should always remain alert and in control. Understanding different types of car accidents and how to avoid them. Car accidents come in many forms, and understanding the most common types can help you take steps to avoid them. Each type of accident presents unique challenges and risks, but with proper awareness, many can be prevented. One of the most common types of accidents is the rear-end collision. This occurs when one vehicle hits the back of another, often because the driver in the rear was following too closely or didn't react in time to sudden stops. To avoid rear-end collisions, maintain a safe following distance, especially in heavy traffic or poor weather conditions. The rule of thumb is to keep at least a 3-second gap between you and the car in front. Another frequent type of accident is the side impact collision, sometimes referred to as a T-bone collision. This occurs when one vehicle crashes into the side of another, often at intersections. These accidents are particularly dangerous because the sides of a car offer less protection than the front or rear. To reduce the risk of side impact collisions, always obey traffic signals, and be cautious when entering intersections, even if you have the right of way. Head-on collisions are less common, but often result in severe injuries or fatalities. These occur when two vehicles traveling in opposite directions crash into each other, usually because one driver crosses into the wrong lane. Avoiding head-on collisions involves staying in your lane, paying attention to road markings, and being cautious on two-lane roads where passing is allowed. Single-vehicle accidents are another common type, often involving a car running off the road or hitting an object like a tree or guardrail. These accidents can be caused by speeding, distracted driving, or poor weather conditions. To avoid single-vehicle accidents, always drive at a safe speed, especially on curves or in bad weather, and avoid distractions that take your attention away from the road. Finally, multi-vehicle pileups can occur in heavy traffic or on highways, particularly in foggy or icy conditions. These accidents involve several cars and can be very dangerous because it's hard to predict how other drivers will react. Multi-vehicle pileups are often triggered by a chain reaction. One car brakes suddenly, and the vehicles behind do not have enough time to stop. To avoid being part of a pileup, maintain a safe following distance and be especially cautious in bad weather. If you notice a collision ahead, reduce your speed gradually and keep your distance from the cars around you. If you're unable to avoid a multi-vehicle accident, stay inside your car with your seatbelt fastened until it is safe to exit, as exiting prematurely can put you at risk of being hit by other vehicles. Understanding car insurance. After an accident. When involved in an accident, one of the first things you'll likely think about is how your insurance will come into play. Understanding how car insurance works in the aftermath of an accident can help ease some of the stress during this difficult time. After ensuring everyone's safety at the accident scene, your next step should be to contact your insurance company. Most insurance policies require you to report an accident within a certain period of time. The earlier you report it, the sooner they can begin processing your claim and provide any necessary assistance, such as roadside help or towing services. Your insurance company will likely ask you to provide detailed information about the accident, including how it occurred, the condition of the vehicles involved, and whether there were any injuries. It's important to be as accurate and factual as possible when describing the event, avoiding assumptions or admitting fault before a thorough investigation has been conducted. After your claim is submitted, an insurance adjuster will be assigned to evaluate the damage to your vehicle and assess any injuries. The adjuster will determine the extent of the repairs needed and whether the vehicle is considered a total loss. If your vehicle is a total loss, the insurance company may offer you the fair market value of the car at the time of the accident. If you are not at fault for the accident, your insurance company may seek reimbursement from the at-fault driver's insurance. This process is called subrogation and involves your insurance company recovering the costs they paid for your claim, such as vehicle repairs or medical expenses. Understanding the type of insurance coverage you have before an accident occurs can also help you better navigate the aftermath. There are several common types of car insurance coverage. Liability insurance covers damages you cause to others if you're at fault in an accident. This includes property damage and medical expenses for the other driver and passengers. Collision coverage helps pay for damage to your vehicle if you're involved in an accident, regardless of fault. This type of coverage is typically optional, but can be very helpful if you want to ensure your vehicle will be repaired or replaced after an accident. Comprehensive coverage covers damages to your vehicle that aren't the result of a collision, such as damage from theft, vandalism, or natural disasters. Personal injury protection, PIP, or medical payments coverage helps cover medical expenses for you and your passengers, regardless of who is at fault for the accident. Keep in mind that deductibles apply to many types of coverage, meaning you'll be responsible for paying a certain amount out of pocket before your insurance kicks in. It's important to know the details of your deductible when choosing your coverage. If the other driver is at fault, but is uninsured or underinsured, uninsured, underinsured motorist coverage can come to your aid. This type of coverage is designed to protect you if the at-fault driver lacks sufficient insurance to cover your damages or medical bills. One key aspect to consider is how an accident may affect your insurance premiums. If you are found at fault, your insurance rates could increase, depending on the severity of the accident and the specific policies of your insurance provider. However, some insurance companies offer accident forgiveness programs, which prevent your rates from going up after your first accident. How to handle legal proceedings after an accident. In some cases, the aftermath of a car accident may involve legal action, especially if the accident was severe or resulted in significant property damage or injuries. Understanding how to handle legal proceedings can protect your rights and ensure you receive the appropriate compensation. If you're injured in a car accident, the first thing you should do is seek medical attention. Even if you feel fine immediately after the accident, it's essential to get checked by a healthcare professional. Some injuries, such as whiplash or concussions, may not present symptoms right away, but can worsen over time. Medical records will also serve as crucial evidence if you decide to pursue a personal injury claim. Once your immediate medical needs have been addressed, consider reaching out to a personal injury lawyer if the accident was serious or if there's a dispute over who was at fault. Personal injury lawyers specialize in handling car accident claims and can guide you through the legal process.
Driving is something most of us do every day. It's part of our daily routine, whether we're commuting to work, running errands, or going on a road trip. But it's easy to forget how dangerous driving can be if we don't stay focused and follow basic safety rules. Every year, thousands of accidents happen on the road. Some are minor, but many result in serious injuries or even fatalities. Most of these accidents are preventable, and that's why it's so important to always keep safety at the forefront of our minds when we get behind the wheel. The first and most basic rule of driving safely is to always stay alert. This means paying attention to the road, your surroundings, and other drivers. It also means avoiding distractions. One of the biggest causes of accidents today is distracted driving, especially due to smartphones. Texting, checking emails, or even just glancing at your phone for a second can lead to a crash. The few seconds your eyes are off the road are enough to miss something critical, like a car stopping suddenly in front of you or a pedestrian crossing. Another major safety tip is to always obey traffic laws. These rules aren't just guidelines, they're designed to keep everyone safe. Speed limits, stop signs, and traffic lights are there for a reason. Speeding, in particular, increases the chance of an accident, and the faster you're going, the worse the impact will be. Even if you're in a hurry, it's never worth risking your life or the lives of others to save a few minutes. Wearing a seatbelt is one of the simplest things you can do to protect yourself. It might seem like common sense, but a surprising number of people still don't wear their seatbelts, especially on short trips. But no matter how short the drive, a seatbelt can mean the difference between life and death in an accident. It keeps you secure in your seat and prevents you from being thrown around or ejected from the car during a crash. Safe driving also means knowing when it's time to slow down or stop altogether. Weather conditions like rain, snow, or fog can make the roads much more dangerous. Wet roads reduce traction, making it harder to stop quickly. In bad weather, it's important to reduce your speed, increase your following distance, and turn on your headlights to increase visibility. If the weather gets too bad, it's safer to pull over and wait it out rather than risk driving in unsafe conditions. Another key factor in driving safety is understanding and respecting the concept of defensive driving. This means not just reacting to what's happening around you, but also anticipating potential hazards. Always expect the unexpected. Whether it's a car cutting you off, a pedestrian stepping into the street, or a cyclist swerving into your lane. By staying prepared, you give yourself the time to react calmly and avoid accidents. One important defensive driving technique is to always maintain a safe following distance. Tailgating, or following too closely behind another car, reduces the time you have to react if that car suddenly stops. A good rule of thumb is to keep at least a 3-second gap between your car and the one in front of you. In bad weather or at higher speeds, increasing that distance can make a huge difference. Driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs is one of the most dangerous things anyone can do. Even a small amount of alcohol can impair your judgment, reaction time, and coordination. Drunk driving is responsible for a large percentage of fatal accidents every year. If you've been drinking, don't take the risk. Call a taxi, use a rideshare service, or have a designated driver. The same goes for any substances that might impair your ability to drive, including prescription medications. Fatigue can be just as dangerous as alcohol when it comes to driving. Many people underestimate how risky it is to drive while tired. Drowsy driving slows your reaction time and makes it harder to stay focused on the road. In extreme cases, you might even fall asleep at the wheel, which can result in a catastrophic accident. If you feel too tired to drive, it's best to pull over and rest or switch drivers if possible. Another safety tip that's often overlooked is proper vehicle maintenance. Keeping your car in good working order is essential for safe driving. Regularly checking your brakes, tires, lights, and wipers can help prevent breakdowns or accidents. Something as simple as a flat tire or faulty brakes can cause you to lose control of your vehicle, especially at high speeds. Make sure to check your tire pressure and tread regularly, and get your brakes inspected by a professional if you notice any issues like squeaking or grinding sounds. It's also important to be aware of your own driving skills and limitations. For new or inexperienced drivers, it's important to take the time to build confidence behind the wheel, but never get overconfident. If you're uncomfortable driving in certain conditions, like heavy traffic, nighttime, or on highways, take extra precautions, drive slower, and avoid risky maneuvers until you feel more confident. Even experienced drivers should constantly remind themselves that it's never a bad thing to drive cautiously. Being aware of other types of road users is crucial too. Motorcycles, bicycles, and pedestrians are more vulnerable than drivers in cars. Always check your blind spots for motorcyclists or cyclists before changing lanes, and be extra cautious when driving through areas with lots of pedestrians, such as residential neighborhoods or near schools. Keep an eye out for crosswalks, and always stop when people are crossing the street, even if it seems like you have plenty of room. Driving safely isn't just about protecting yourself. It's also about being considerate of others. Road rage and aggressive driving put everyone at risk. Whether it's speeding, tailgating, or cutting people off, these behaviors can lead to dangerous situations. If another driver is acting aggressively, the best thing you can do is stay calm, avoid engaging with them, and give them plenty of space. Never let frustration or anger control your actions behind the wheel. One last thing to remember, accidents don't only happen on busy roads or highways. A significant number of accidents occur in parking lots, driveways, and quiet streets. Always stay alert, even when you're driving at low speeds in these areas. Watch for pedestrians, especially children, and take extra care when reversing or making turns. Another critical element of driving safety is managing distractions inside the car. While phones are a well-known cause of distracted driving, there are many other potential distractions that can pull your attention away from the road. Eating, adjusting the radio, talking to passengers, or even daydreaming can take your focus off driving. It only takes a second for something unexpected to happen, and when your attention is divided, you're much more likely to miss it. One way to reduce distractions is to set everything up before you start driving. Adjust your mirrors, program your GPS, and pick your playlist or radio station ahead of time. If you need to do something that takes your focus off the road, like grabbing something from the back seat or answering an urgent phone call, pull over safely before doing it. Driving with children or pets in the car can be another source of distraction. Make sure that children are properly secured in their seats and understand the importance of staying calm while you're driving. If they need attention, it's safer to pull over than to try to handle a situation while on the move. Similarly, pets should always be secured in a pet carrier or with a pet harness. Letting them roam freely in the car can cause major distractions and, in the event of an accident, can put both you and your pet in danger. Another aspect of road safety that's becoming increasingly important is understanding how to drive around large trucks and commercial vehicles. These vehicles have large blind spots and need more space to stop or make turns. It's important to stay out of these blind spots and give them plenty of room, especially when they're merging or changing lanes. Always remember that if you can't see the truck driver in their mirrors, they probably can't see you either. Road conditions can change in an instant, so being adaptable is another key skill for safe driving. Construction zones, detours, and road closures are common, and they can create confusing or hazardous conditions. In these situations, it's important to slow down, follow the signs, and stay alert for workers or unexpected obstacles. Many accidents happen because drivers don't adjust their speed or behavior when entering these types of zones. One of the most dangerous things you can do on the road is engage in risky behaviors like speeding, running red lights, or making illegal turns. It might seem like saving a few seconds is worth it, but these actions can easily lead to accidents. For example, running a red light could result in a serious collision with another vehicle or a pedestrian. It's important to remember that traffic laws exist for a reason, and breaking them puts everyone at risk. On the flip side, driving too slowly can also be dangerous. If you're driving below the speed limit or significantly slower than the flow of traffic, you can disrupt the natural rhythm of the road and cause other drivers to make sudden maneuvers to avoid you. This doesn't mean you should speed, but it does mean you should drive at a safe, consistent pace that matches the road conditions and traffic around you. Another crucial part of safe driving is understanding and respecting the space between vehicles. When you're driving too closely behind someone, it limits your ability to react if they stop suddenly. Rear-end collisions are one of the most common types of accidents, and they're often caused by drivers not leaving enough space between their car and the one in front of them. Always aim to leave at least a 3-second gap, and in poor weather or heavy traffic, increase that distance. Beyond the basics, every driver should be prepared for emergencies. Whether it's a flat tire, an engine failure, or an accident, knowing what to do in these situations can help keep you safe. Always keep an emergency kit in your car with items like a flashlight, a first aid kit, basic tools, and water. If you're involved in an accident, the most important thing is to remain calm. Check yourself and others for injuries. Call emergency services if needed, and never leave the scene until it's safe and appropriate to do so. Hello and welcome to today's video, where we'll be discussing something that affects millions of lives every year: accident safety. Whether you're a new driver or a seasoned pro, understanding the leading causes of accidents and knowing how to prevent them is crucial for your safety and that of others on the road. From distracted driving to hazardous weather, accidents can happen when you least expect them. But with the right information, you can significantly reduce your risk. Let's dive into what you need to know to stay safe behind the wheel. Every time you get into a car, you take on a responsibility, not only for yourself, but for everyone on the road around you. Car accidents remain one of the leading causes of injury and death worldwide. According to the World Health Organization, approximately 1.3 million people lose their lives each year in road accidents, and millions more are injured. These numbers aren't just statistics, they're a sobering reminder of the importance of road safety. Most accidents are avoidable, and that's why it's crucial to take proactive steps to minimize risks. Road safety isn't just about following traffic rules. It's about being aware, anticipating potential dangers, and always making safety your top priority. Now let's talk about the most common causes of car accidents. Understanding these can help you avoid situations that could put you or others at risk. Distracted driving. By far, distracted driving is the leading cause of accidents worldwide. Whether it's checking your phone, adjusting the radio, or even talking to passengers, any distraction that takes your eyes off the road for even a few seconds can lead to disastrous results. Did you know that at 55 miles per hour, taking your eyes off the road for just 5 seconds is like driving the length of a football field with your eyes closed? That's why it's essential to eliminate distractions. Put your phone on silent, and if you need to attend to something, pull over safely before doing so. Speeding. Another significant contributor to accidents is speeding. It's easy to understand why. Driving over the speed limit reduces your ability to react to sudden changes on the road, such as a car stopping abruptly or a pedestrian crossing unexpectedly. Speeding not only increases the severity of an accident, but also makes it more likely that an accident will occur in the first place. Always remember, getting to your destination a few minutes earlier is never worth the risk of an accident. Driving under the influence. Despite countless warnings, driving under the influence remains a major cause of accidents. Alcohol and drugs impair your reaction times, judgment, and coordination, all of which are critical to safe driving. Even one drink can impair your ability to drive. The message here is clear. Never, under any circumstances, drive while intoxicated. Always arrange for a designated driver or use a ride-sharing service if you've been drinking. Fatigue. Fatigue is an often overlooked but extremely dangerous factor. Drowsy driving can be just as dangerous as driving under the influence. According to the National Sleep Foundation, driving after being awake for 18 hours impairs your performance as much as having a blood alcohol concentration of 0.05%. If you feel drowsy, don't push yourself to keep driving. It's always better to pull over and rest than to risk falling asleep behind the wheel. Weather conditions. Lastly, hazardous weather conditions such as rain, fog, snow, or ice are major contributors to road accidents. These conditions reduce visibility, make the road slick, and increase stopping distances. When driving in bad weather, slow down, increase your following distance, and always use your headlights. Being cautious in poor conditions can be the difference between a safe drive and a dangerous accident. How to stay safe on the road. Now that we've gone over the leading causes of accidents, let's talk about some practical ways to stay safe on the road. Stay focused. Always keep your focus on the road. This means eliminating distractions like cell phones, conversations, or even daydreaming. If you're feeling tired or overwhelmed, take a break. It's better to arrive a little late than not at all. Follow the speed limit. Speed limits are there for a reason, and it's important to follow them, especially in residential areas or school zones. Remember, the faster you drive, the less time you have to react to sudden changes. Stick to the speed limit and adjust your speed based on road conditions. Practice defensive driving. Defensive driving is all about being aware of what's happening around you and anticipating potential hazards. Always keep a safe distance between your car and the one in front of you. Look ahead for potential dangers and be prepared to react quickly. Being proactive can prevent many accidents before they happen. Keep your vehicle in good condition. Your car's condition plays a significant role in your safety. Make sure to keep your tires, brakes, and lights in good working order. Regular maintenance checks can help prevent mechanical failures that could lead to accidents. Buckle up. Wearing your seatbelt is the simplest and most effective way to protect yourself in an accident. It can reduce the risk of death in a crash by 45%. Make sure you and all passengers are buckled up before you even start the car.
Oh my God! Oh my God!